Yes,
There it
sir.
is.
Yes, sir. Welcome in. Welcome in. It is the New Millennium Falcons podcast.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Got that
Yes,
boy.
sir.
Got that boy Fleek with me. How you feeling, my boy?
Hey, feeling great as always. Not a victory Wednesday. We've had a lot more not victory Wednesdays than we've had victory Wednesdays as of late. But I'm still feeling good, bro. I'm feeling good. How you doing today?
Hey, bro. I can't feel much better, bro, because I got the man, the myth, the legend from Falcons Twitter on here with us, bro.
Man,
Yes, sir.
That man,
I ain't
I
good for
mean,
nothing but bad tweets and bad takes, man. That's all I do.
hey, bro,
That's all I do.
we got that man Jack on with us, bro. How you feeling, my
Yes, sir.
boy?
It
Yes,
was a
sir.
long time coming. I
Mhm.
I really wish this was off the back of a Falcons win, but happy to be on the pod. Happy to try to contribute whatever way I can. So we here. I do appreciate the invite, fellas.
Of course,
Oh,
bro.
yes, sir.
Of course, bro.
Always.
Hey, we got the bye week this week, man. We get to kick the feet up for a little bit, man.
Oh,
Talk about, you know what I'm saying? Talk about, what could have happened, what the coulda, shoulda, woulda was on
Hmm
2022 Falcons, bro. But
and that's interesting because we get our
mhm,
bye week so late that our season's basically like over. So it's like we can kind of look at it from it's not over, okay, technically, mathematically. All right.
Nine
who
But
percent.
who not
not
over?
9% any given Sunday. But like
Yep.
we have 12 games as opposed to teams that get a bye after 7 or 8. We've looked at 12 games. We've seen a plethora of different runs. We've seen the Falcons look great. We've seen the Falcons look horrendous. We've been at the mountaintops.
hmm
What would you say, Jack? You said brothers in arms when we went to that Panthers and Falcons
Oh
game.
man,
Bro,
I
we've seen
try
it
to
all.
wipe the Panthers game from my memory entirely. That game was brutal to watch, but it was a it was a win.
It
I
was a
guess
win. It
it
was
was
a
a
win.
win
You know what's
somehow.
crazy though? I feel like we've been going downhill ever since that game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I feel like we
Mm-hmm.
haven't been the same since. And
Mm-mm.
we pulled that out of nowhere because,
Mm-hmm.
it was last
Pinheiro.
minute.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
God Almighty.
Yeah, honestly, and that's crazy that we had to rely on somebody else's kicker to keep us in the game. I don't
Yes,
like that,
sir.
but
Oh yeah.
we're not talking about dubs today. We're not talking about those dubs today. We're talking about this L that we took on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers
Yeah.
19, Falcons 16 in the bins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a lot of Steelers. I have one of my best friends is a Steelers fan, and
Same here.
while he was fantastic, bro. Like he was like, hey man, what happened, my boy Devontae, you think you saw him on my feed, Lucky Neve. That's my boy. Yeah, he wasn't as friendly, bro. He made sure that I saw the Najee stiff arm over and over again.
Richie.
Uh
Poor
Yeah.
Richie.
yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong when you
Poor
use a
Richie.
man's head as a shovel. That's just completely wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. It's okay. We eat those.
Yeah, we
Hey,
eat those. We eat
we eat
those kind
those.
of sorta. But
Yeah.
what was y'all take on the game, bro? You know what? We go. Let's go to Jack first, bro. Because Jack the guest. We gotta let the guest go.
Yes, sir.
So I was there live in person for the game as I am every Falcons Sunday.
Amazing guy.
Out there in 116, repping the set and everything. And it all right. So first of all, before we even get into the game, I I'm gonna point to the camera wherever the camera's at. You Falcons fans, what the fuck was that? Dog, there was Pittsburgh fans everywhere. And like, listen, I am guilty because like I had a ticket. Yeah, exactly. I had a ticket and I didn't really know what to do with it, so I just put it up on the marketplace or whatever. Because like Pittsburgh's one of those teams like they're one of those like bloodline teams that they got the date back to like the 1940s when players were ripping darts on the sideline.
When the
Like,
helmets were soft.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, and like so like I knew I could get pretty decent resale. So like I thought, yeah, it's probably a 50-50 shot that it'll be a Steelers fan or a Falcons fan. He was a Steelers fan. Funny enough, knew the guy. It was my boy Hunter, not Thompson that comes on the pod all the time, but my boy Hunter. I'll give him a shout out on here. But nonetheless, he came, diehard Steelers fan. He's all excited about Kenny Pickett, Pickens, and Fryer Mew, all those guys. And I mean, the fan base, like there was no juice in that stadium for the Falcons at all. It was absolutely crazy how many yellow towels and I didn't even watch it back on TV. Typically, I'll come home, decompress, and then like before Sunday Night Football, like watch the short version just to like kind of check it out, and see what it looked like on the TV copy. I didn't even want to watch it on the TV copy, damn well knowing that it would look like mustard throughout the entire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a little bit of ketchup.
Yes. I mean, and like even on third downs, I think it was like the first drive of the game, we get like 2 false starts or something like that.
So
on the first drive, yeah,
I remember that.
And I was just like, oh my God, this is gonna be the whole game. And then, like, sure enough, like third downs would come for the offense. I mean, you could just audibly hear it. Like, yeah, like I would try to get my section to rise up a little bit. That's the whole Samuel L. Jackson stuff they do on the Halo board. What the Falcons do. This Sunday, it was not rising up, gentlemen. I am here to report.
Oh, wow.
Steelers fans was in mass in Mercedes-Benz this Sunday, and that is a damn shame. But as far as the game goes, honestly, my biggest takeaways are Kenny Pickett, surprisingly not that bad. He actually looked like an NFL quarterback at times in that game. Freiermuth is incredible. He is so good. Like, that guy will be top 5 on most fantasy boards, I can guarantee you, as soon as next season. And then from a Falcons standpoint, first things first, without Ebiketie, that pass rush is fairy dust. It is there's nothing there. I felt bad for Grady getting double teamed by like Kendrick Green, and I can't think of who their other guard's name is. Maybe it's like Okoro or something like that. Yeah, that pass rush is fairy dust, and then it was also nice to see AJ and Isaiah really do the job. And hell, I mean, I'll even extend it out to Darren Hall to do the job on NFL young boy George Pickens. That man was ghost the whole game. Now Deontay went off a little bit, he did, but for those guys that step up and do the job they did on the Steelers 1s and 2s, not bad. I mean, it really, especially with the pass rush not giving you much the whole game.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, Fleet, what you got?
I mean, I ain't got much. That game was like, I don't know. It was the epitome of the Falcons to me, man. I mean, I feel like our defense died slowly. So they only gave up 19 points, but the drives were long, and we lost the time of possession by a lot. So, yeah, too much. It was too much to overcome. It's almost always too much to overcome unless you have an offense that can score whenever they need to. When you have an offense that can score at will, then you can overcome time of possession loss and sometimes even turnovers. But the time of possession was too much. I know I say it every week. The inaccuracy was too much. There were plays where receivers were open. The ball just wasn't finding them. And when the ball was their way, it was too high, too far, too low. It's just tough, man. I mean, our run game came alive in the second half. I don't know why we didn't run the ball more in the first. I know he said they were stacking the box and stuff. But I feel like, bro, like we're a top running offense in the league, bro. You got to show me. Like, you got to show me you can stop me. You know what I'm saying? Top five. Like,
top 5.
You gotta show me. Like, I see you stacking the box, but I'm gonna run Algier, I'm gonna run CP, and y'all gonna have to show me that y'all can stop him before I just go away from it. But that wasn't how it started off. We started off passing the ball, which I actually liked. The first play was like a completion to Drake London. Y'all know I love some Drake London. So
yeah,
I'm all for it. Load up the Drake. Shout out Drake. He could have had, very easily could have had his first 100-yard game, but that's just a what if. But he did have 95 yards, if I'm not mistaken. So really good game by Drake. I think he is wide receiver 1 for us. Like, I think he has that type of backbone. I think he can be the wide receiver 1 of this offense. I really do. Another takeaway, I mean, the offensive line didn't play too bad, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't really like watching our offense anymore because it's very, very. It's very.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's very stagnant, and it's so depressing because he'll hit a shot to Drake, and then he'll miss the next two passes, and then it's like drive killed, and we're one of the least penalized teams in the NFL, but it just seemed like we got penalized a lot last game, and at the worst times possible. Penalties killed a few drives, so you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're already losing time of possession. It was just a recipe for a loss. Never did I really feel like we would get back in that game because I knew that Pittsburgh could run the ball on us so efficiently. I never felt like, even when we scored a touchdown, I never felt like, we were going to catch up and win in the game. And that's one feeling I hate so bad, when I feel like we don't have a chance, especially against a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I know have been better of late. But, like, I saw somebody say on Twitter, or maybe I heard on the podcast, that they were saying, I think it was on Dukes and Bill on 92.9. They were saying you lost most of those easy games that you had. Like, when we looked at that stretch of 4 games, we won the Chicago game, but that was it. And so where I'm looking at a thing where we can go 3-1, maybe 4-0, we actually went 1-3, and that has derailed the season for sure. I think we've slowed down a lot as a team. I feel like we came out, I don't want to say on fire, but we came out and surprised some people. And, we're efficient on offense and playing well. But there's only so much you can do when you're passing for 150 yards a game, and, you're passing the ball 15 to 20 times a game. In this NFL, there's only so much you can do. It's not sustainable, and I think we all kind of knew that. I think it was just fun to see the fight, and they still fight. That's the thing, they still fight. But I believe we're going to need a spark in the offense to get things moving forward.
So the first thing that came to mind was definitely what Jack said. I mean, this right here, this can't happen, bro. This can't happen. Shout out to our boy RB on Twitter. That can't happen, bro. Where they completely just outclass us at our stadium. I mean, it just can't. Another thing that can't happen is us having how many plays in the first quarter? I want to say it was. Did we even have a second drive in the first quarter?
I don't think
we did.
I don't think so. They bled. I think their first drive was 8 minutes or something.
Their first drive was 8 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't touch the ball till like 6:50 something in the first. I think definitely somewhere near the 6 minute mark.
Yeah,
that can't happen, bro. Like our defense is not good enough to where we can overcome that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and not to take anything away from the defense. I mean, take any blame away from the defense, because they weren't good either. Like, they were not good either. That boy Najee Harris basically did what he wanted to. Like Jack said, Kenny Pickett, who has been average to mediocre to average for most of the
high and low.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're balancing it out, that's how I feel like he's going to be like average. He's around that middle. Made him look pretty damn good, pretty damn capable. Like, if it wasn't for a couple of throws that most quarterbacks miss, we might not have been in this game late. Like, I'm be honest with you. So, but speaking of quarterbacks missing their targets, I have to say, and this is another one. Shout out to RB, bro. I think it's Ritter time, guys. I think it's about that time.
Throw them foes up,
man. Throw them foes up, man. I think it's about that time, guys.
Yeah. I just want to say, right? This is the thing, because this is also caused. Well, Falcons Twitter gonna find a way to have discourse. Because I could have regardless. But now everyone's saying, what if Ritter comes in and he's ass? What if Ritter comes in and it's the same thing? What if he's poop? All right. What if he is? All right. But what if he is poop? We give him the whole year. Forget the 4 games. Mariota, you rock it. Go ahead. And then he comes in next year after you spent your money in free agency, building your trenches, and drafting in the NFL draft players, because you have starter packs. I mean, Drake London is going to be really good. We know what Kyle Pitts' potential is already. So you have potential. We have one of the best guards in the NFL right now. We have pieces to
lock him up
around.
Make him higher paid than Nelson. I do not care.
So happy. I'm so happy.
Pay that bag.
I'm so happy.
20 mil a year. Don't care.
And I will say McGarry has been better this season. You know what I'm saying? So you have pieces to build around. Like, let you start building around that and think you have a team that you could place a pretty good to solid quarterback in, and they will fly, and then Ritter be trash. Then you really gonna be mad. Then you're gonna wish they would have saw that Ritter was already bad. Not saying he's gonna be bad. I'm optimistic about Ritter. I love this.
I don't think he's gonna be
as
bad.
a prospect. I think Desmond Ritter's gonna be pretty good in this offense. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But just saying, even if it came to the worst, you still win because now you know how you have to move forward. Now you don't have to play a guessing game for another season. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's the right call regardless. I've been wanting this for a while now. And I don't know. I just feel like it's a little past due. I felt like last game was the game that there was no excuse for Marcus Mariota. And it just, there were so many big plays missed or important plays missed because of his inaccuracy. That was his biggest thing. And it was like, okay, even if you're not making mistakes per se, you still aren't being a part of the solution because you're inaccurate. Too inaccurate.
Facts.
So
Facts.
it is what it is.
So real quick, I feel like Arthur Smith has finally hit that. Like, I think he's finally hit that nerve. I think Marcus Mariota has finally hit Arthur Smith's nerve, bro. Because Arthur Smith, I don't know if y'all saw that tweet from Tage today that showed just how ungodly this run game is.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
How truly effective this run game is, even without the passing game to complement it. And it's like Arthur Smith is like, listen, man, I'm putting you in position. Your best quality is your legs. I've made that a weapon. I've taken the ball sort of kind of out of your hands enough to where you can still be an effective quarterback. All I need you to do is just manage the offense.
Hit the easy stuff.
And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. All of the easy buttons. I gave you 2 easy buttons, and you couldn't push either of them throughout the entire season.
Push the middle.
He pushed the smallest button he could find.
Yeah.
He pushed the smallest button he could find.
True.
And it didn't work. It doesn't work. And after a while, Arthur's like, all right, man. Because you saw how dejected he looked, bro, in that press conference.
Seems
like, listen.
Very humble. Very
very
understanding
much so.
And very like, okay, a change has to happen. There's no more like beating around it and maybe this caused this, and it's no more of that. Like, there has to be a change. And he stated that himself without saying it clearly. And I also want to say, before you go, Jack, because I'm interested to see how you feel about Ritter these days. I know how it started. I'm really interested to see how you feel now.
Started from the bottom. Now he is.
For real. But, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people saying, Desmond Ritter may not have gotten in because he may just be worse than Mariota. He may be bad, and that's probably why he hasn't played at all. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on that, and this is why. Because if there's something I've observed about Arthur Smith, and I think a lot of us has, through his pressers and through what we've heard him say, he seems to be a pretty plain guy. I think he tries to beat around the bush a lot, and I think he tries to avoid things, but he is someone like myself, I feel. He can't hide his emotion. Like, when you ask him something, the way he responds to it will tell you everything you need to know, 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. So I know that he is he seems to be a stubborn guy in his football practices from time to time.
Yep.
If he really drafted Desmond Ritter and thought that he had potential but wasn't ready and said, you know what, I'm going to sit him down for a full year, bring Marcus in as a bridge man, and he'll probably, at least be good enough to make us serviceable, which we were for a very long time into the season.
We were. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And he's probably thinking by week 8, And so he's probably thinking, Marcus will hold it down right now because we still don't have no money anyway. We're still playing with – before the season, they said it was the worst roster in the NFL. The CBS said it was 32.
2-15.
2-15. So we're still playing with those same individuals that were predicted to go 2-15. So we have to be realistic, and Art realizes he has to be realistic now. You know what I'm saying? Even if Ritter isn't ready, Marcus, or he can't be any worse than what Marcus is bringing to the table right now. So maybe he did believe that he would let Ritter sit for a full season and start him next year. And if that was his plan, he just seems like the type of person to not easily move off of a plan of his. So I don't necessarily think, not unless forced to. I don't necessarily think Ritter hasn't progressed because everything I've actually heard from them, they actually like his progression. And of course, that could just be them. Of course, you're not going to say, bad things about your rookie quarterback. Right. But, I'm going to take him at his word. They like where his progress is. They have never stated that he's ready. Matter of fact, nowadays, if someone asks Art what he thinks about Ritter's progress, he starts talking about every other rookie. He starts talking about everybody else but the QB. So he's obviously very sensitive to that topic, obviously. So we wouldn't know what Art thinks about Desmond Ritter at all until he came out forthright and said it. Because we don't know. So I think he's been sitting the entire year for that reason, not necessarily because he can't be a good quarterback for this team. That was long-winded, but I've been thinking about that all day, so I had to say that.
No, I mean, it definitely is a topic that requires a lot of thought. And to answer your question, Fleek, I mean, obviously I was the guy on Falcons Twitter that coined the term Desmond Ritter. That was me in the pre-draft process. Obviously we drafted him. He's a part of this franchise. Funny enough, I bought my season tickets. They told me, and honestly, and this is going to kind of be a funny story. It might be a little long-winded, but nonetheless, I called, obviously, I was hyped because of the Deshaun stuff. Yeah, blah, 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 the Deshaun stuff. I was told, there was a pretty good chance of number 4 being here. As you can see, my mind was under the impression that number 4 would be from Gainesville, Georgia, and not Cincinnati, Ohio. But as it would turn out, we have Ritter, and he is number 4 now. But on the topic of him, I guess, getting the opportunity to be the guy, obviously, I think Art finally kind of came to realize, going into the Cincinnati game, you kind of had a feeling going into that one. If you even looked at the injury report, you probably had a good feeling as to how that game was going to go. That is the one glaring outlier upon the entire season. Because in every other game, we've been relatively competitive. We've hung in there with the good teams, the bad teams, whatever. It's win or loss, whatever. It's been competitive. But that Cincinnati game was the first one where you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, maybe Mariota is just a little bit of a problem. Because even though the defense wasn't going to stop a soul that day because we were playing, grocery baggers and Walmart greeters at corner,
Yes, we were.
Yeah. That probably was your first indicator that, hey, maybe we're going to need to, liven up the passing game in order to be able to actually compete. If that was supposed to be the goal this season, then yeah, that's going to have to be a natural byproduct of that. Right. But when you go and Mariota had a pretty good game following that against, I think, Carolina. We ran down through the schedule in pre-show, just kind of talking about how many times we've been at 500 and lost. But, he had a pretty good game against Carolina. Hell, me and Fleek were there live in person to see it. Honestly, he played relatively decent in Carolina. There were a few bad overthrows, when we tried to go vertically. But, he didn't lose you the game, obviously, because you ended up winning the game. But that second game at Carolina, boy, oh my God! What is it? Amazon that does Thursday Night Football now?
Oh yeah.
They might need to send you a nice gift card or something for having watched that 3-hour game.
Everybody
Bezos.
Have we not
Bezos might need to come out of
apologized
pocket
for that?
No.
Yeah.
No, and Bezos might need to come out of pocket for that one. But
that's bad. That was horrible. That was horrible, man. That was really bad football, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
and the crazy, The highlight of the game was him doing that little spin, almost interception, whatever the heck that was, falling to the ground.
I call it the
that was
helicopter throw.
That was the highlight of that game. There wasn't any actual football highlights from that game except that one clip that went viral on Twitter. And that's how you know it got bad then. But going into, I guess, I'm going to call it the new era of Falcons football, because more than likely you're probably going to see Desmond start in New Orleans for his first game. Or at least that's what, everything's kind of pointing towards. I mean, obviously they're not going to say it for a competitive standpoint, because that's what Art likes to do. He likes to keep it close to the vest. But
right.
Having Desmond in the position that we have him now, I hate that he's not going to have Pitts to throw to in his first start. Like that's a real tough one. Like, honestly, like that's probably something because I mean, Pitts' injury honestly was kind of a byproduct of Mariota throwing an absolute suicide ball. Like, I mean, if we're going to call a spade, that was a suicide ball. He threw him a ball in double coverage, and a corner or a safety, whoever it was, I can't remember.
Eddie Jackson.
But Eddie Jackson
Yes.
put his helmet in that man's kneecap.
Hyperextended
it. Yeah. And you knew, or at least I knew, sitting in the stands. I didn't even have to see the replay. I'm like, he's probably done for the year for that one. He's probably done for the year.
Yeah, it looked bad. It did.
Because, like, typically, like when Pitts gets popped from a suicide ball, like, I mean, I'm not going to single out Mariota. Ryan threw some to him too, last year, when he's lollipopping him over the middle. But, like, typically when Pitts gets one of those and he takes a shot, he's getting up, he's doing the whole damn shoulder thing, he's doing all this, that, he's dropping the ball like CeeDee Lamb does. Like, it's that tough mentality, but you could just tell. Which, I mean, now, like, for Ritter, and really, I can't say that I have an expectation for the guy, because at the end of the day, he is a conditional third-round pick. And, like, a lot of people want to give him the credit of, like, he could be the next Dak. And if he is, then, Terry might be one of the luckiest guys in football from a general manager standpoint, because, we went from the franchise guy for, I don't know, 12, 13 years, whatever it was.
14.
Then,
14
years. Then you try to transition, one of the hometown kids gives you a call like, "Hey, Terry, hit me up, daddy." And it's like, damn, all right, let's ride. So then Terry goes all in on that for an off season. And, then you're left holding the bag on that one. And then, okay, well, let's just sign this Hawaiian. And then, we're going to just vibe with Desmond, and that's our quarterback room, and if Desmond is really, really good, if he's the second coming of Dak, even if he's because I mean I don't know how y'all perceive the quarterback ranks in the NFL, but like Dak to me is probably probably a pretty firm top 10 guy right now. But I mean even if he's like a Alex Smith, Derek Carr-esque guy, like that is a win. That is an absolute win. If you can get that out of a third-round pick, and you can see at least a glimmer of that in the last 4 games, or at least that's what I'd assume he'd start. Like, I wouldn't think Art, after benching Mariota, would go back to him unless Ritter got hurt.
Yeah.
But, and, I mean, even if you look at the defenses he's going to have to play, like, the Saints' defense is depleted. There's not much there. I mean, it's just Cam Jordan really, I mean, honestly being the Grady Jarrett of that unit. Cardinals, they've fallen from grace. They still got some guys like Isaiah Simmons and JJ still, chugging along over there. And then, of course, the Ravens always have a stout unit, and the Bucks have a stout unit. But, if he can kind of mitigate his way through that, I mean, in a 4-game sample size, I'm not going to sit here and ask for more than like 600 yards passing. And I mean, if he can even give me a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, or even like a 1-to-1, or maybe he's got 7 touchdowns and 5 turnovers. Okay, cool. All right, that's something. That's at least foundational.
That's kind of where I'm at too. If you can give me a 1.5 to 1 going into next year, I think I'll be okay. But but no,
my fault.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say, is that not another vote of confidence in Ritter to y'all that we never signed a veteran backup?
I think that's more so with the fact, that we had limited resources.
Zero cash.
Yeah, we had limited resources to kind of go and find another vet to come here. But
shout out to XFL legend AJ McCarron.
Oh my God, I miss AJ.
Where Josh Rosen at right now?
He is chilling. He
vibing.
That's my guy though. We got him one last check before he dipped out. Shout out to Rosen.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, man, it's actually funny that you said that because I was wondering before podcast started whether if we got a Derek Carr-esque type of quarterback out of Ritter, would that be enough for this team? And Jack, you kind of explained it already. Yeah, I guess it would be.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the way that Terry and Arthur, kind of built this thing. I've really enjoyed it. But I did want to talk to y'all. What is it about Mariota? Like, when did you think Mariota's slide started, man? Like, when do you think this happened? You know what I'm saying?
Slide?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's
two? Not just
one. You know what I'm saying? Because look, I see him from week 1 through 6. You know what I'm saying? The drop back EPA is average. You know what I'm saying? Everything about him is average to above average going up until then. So I'm just wondering, like, what happened? Was it the Cincinnati game?
You know what?
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point, Savion. I didn't think about it like that because I do just always remember me feeling like Marcus Mariota was bad, but it was for different reasons. Because if you remember earlier in the season, it wasn't so much his inaccuracy that we all hated. He was a turnover machine at the beginning of the season.
Correct.
Him and Matt Ryan were leading the league in turnovers at like week 6. So like that's what, and it was happening at the worst possible times. Like when we fumbled in the red zone against the Saints. One example. Just one example of 7. But that was it. But after week 6, 7, 8, like you said, it became more so of an inefficiency. Like he can't even he's not even getting done what he was earlier in the season. Why? I really couldn't tell you. Maybe when Wilkinson went down and the left guard position started to be a turnstile for a little bit there. Maybe he became uncomfortable. Maybe he didn't trust
Hennessy game
as much.
That Hennessy game was horrible. Oh my God.
Game was bad.
Because I just swear, I mean, even earlier in the season, I felt like Mariota he played a little fidgety, but as of late, it's just been way off. Like, it's just been like, man, like, what are you doing sometimes? Like, I don't know. So it might be the line. Maybe he's losing trust in the line or something. I don't know. Even though they haven't been playing that bad.
I mean, would a left guard make that? Because I mean, like, majority of, or at least the games that I can remember since Wilkinson got put on IR, or even when he was out with his personal stuff, like for the majority, I mean, it's been Colby Gossett pretty much the whole time. Like, I mean, there was that one game with Hennessy. And then I think we started Adoga for a little bit, maybe like 1 or 2 games because Gossett was injured. But like in, I want to say the 4 or 5 game sample size we've had without Wilkinson, I'd say a good 70% of that's been Gossett for, I mean, majority of the reps.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, you're right.
And the thing is, if my theory were to be true, it wouldn't be so much of an evidential thing. It'd be like a mind thing. Like maybe he's thinking, okay, I've seen this before. Maybe it's about to go down here. I don't know. Like maybe he's seen ghosts. Sam Darnold-esque. So who knows?
Ooh, let's not put that on him.
Shout out Carolina.
Yeah. Who makes the calls for the O-line? Is it Mariota's responsibility or is it Dahlman? Does anybody know?
In this offense, I do not know. That is a Hunter question, probably.
Yeah, because that might, because at least in relation to Wilkinson, maybe that's something you could kind of draw that back to. Like maybe because I mean, even though Wilkinson isn't like the best of guys, like he is a veteran in the league. Like he's probably I think a 9-year pro, 8-year pro, something like that. I mean, he was with Chicago for a long time. Right. And then, obviously he came over here like, and I mean, Lindstrom, even though he's great, like, I mean, he's a younger guy. I mean, McGary's a younger guy. Jake's all the way out there on the left side of the field. Like, at least for somebody that's in Mariota's peripheral, I mean, maybe that would have a little bit of something to do with him. Like maybe the protections have just been off, like especially in pass pro. But like, I mean, again, majority of these reps have been with Gossett. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just so fidgety with him. It's ridiculous.
And I think that's the reason why I'm so. I've been against Mariota. Number one, I won't even say against Mariota. I've been on the Ritter train since week 2 because I feel like I've always felt like we're not learning anything with Mariota about this team. We're not learning anything about the offense. We're not learning anything about the quarterback position. And this is a team that's supposed to be quote unquote rebuilding. If that's the case, what are we doing with a vet that's a bridge at best?
I feel you, and I feel like that a little bit too. But a part of me feels like I did learn something, but I kind of learned what I already knew. I kind of learned that Desmond Ridder will work in his offense because I know Ryan Tannehill is the Titans quarterback that everybody compares Desmond Ridder to, but I also saw a lot of Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder too. And I think he has a higher ceiling. And if the way Marcus uses his legs and the way Art encompasses the quarterback in the run game and his offense that we seen this year, because I mean we already knew that from Tennessee, but we couldn't see it last year with Matt, obviously. But I knew when they said he had Matt in speed training that he was already on something. So, so it shows me that because. To me, if you have a quarterback as mobile as Mariota, but more accurate and doesn't miss as many passes, I'm not asking anybody to be perfect. Josh Allen misses passes. Like I'm not asking anybody to be perfect, but Marcus misses too much. And if we can close that gap, I believe Desmond can run maybe not as well as Mariota, but he's not that far behind. And I think he has the potential to be a better field reader and passer. I feel like from the things I've seen from Desmond Ridder and the reason I wanted him in Atlanta is because I feel like he's a solid decision maker, and I feel like he reads the field well. He could work. I know he had to work on his footwork a bit. I know that, but he was growing in his pocket navigation. Like I just seen a lot in Desmond Ridder's senior season at Cincinnati that I was like, man, if we land him, I feel like that's potential. And to get him in the third, man, I feel like that was really nice. And I just feel like that just showed me that he can work in his offense, and I think he will work in his offense.
I'm definitely intrigued by Ridder, the prospect, because like I do see, and I mean I know it was like the joking thing when I was on the timeline. I was like, oh, he's just Brett Hundley. Don't be fooled. All right, Jack. Relax, but I mean, I kind of see an avenue in which, because like, at least if you compare the two, because like, it would seem as if that's going to be the kind of type style that Art wants at quarterback in the long term. Like, even if it's not Ridder, if it's not Mariota past this year, whatever we end up with quarterback at next year, it's going to have to kind of come to a point where, you're going to want more maturation from the passing game. And you're for damn sure going to still want a guy that can, because that's something that I feel like Falcons Twitter doesn't, or at least like the everyday casual fan that, that doesn't necessarily, understand how this running game works, is that this running game is such a byproduct of having a mobile quarterback. Like, because last year we had Matt, and, we had the same staff, pretty much the same personnel. I mean, obviously left guard was an absolute horrible situation last year. But even, with a guy, and like I said, with Gossett, he was on the roster last year. Obviously Mayfield was horrible. We all know Mayfield was horrible. And I guess they were trying to validate using a third-round pick on him. I'm not sure what's going on with Mayfield now. But, I
don't know.
The running game never, like I can't even recall a game even where the running game got going like how it's going consistently week in, week out for this unit. And that's something that I just beat the drum very, very hard for as far as getting mobility at the quarterback spot. You're going to need it. You're going to have to have it in order for Art to be successful. Like especially if our aspirations are a Super Bowl team, like you're going to have a mobile guy. Like trust me, I get the passing aspect of it and wanting that more traditionalist type quarterback, like a Ryan, because that's what Falcons fans are accustomed to, is Matt Ryan. But like
Matty Wheels.
At a point, and even if you look at Mariota and Ritter, like the best way I can describe this is that for Mariota, it's almost reckless running. Like he runs reckless, like and like that's the thing, like he doesn't really slide. Like he just be taking shots.
Forget that. He don't know where he's going. There's been a couple of times this year where he'll just completely he'll run not with the blocker. He'll run around the blocker to the defender. I'm just sitting there like, hey, cut, come on.
Yeah,
like
his vision has been very questionable this year.
My goodness.
Yeah, and Fleek, like you were saying with the turnovers, like sure, if Mariota throws interceptions, okay, Mariota throws interceptions. He's not a good passer, anyways. That's something we know.
Oh, he is not.
Fumbling the ball, dog. Like you shouldn't be putting it on the ground, 3-4 times a game. Yeah, like in the first 5 weeks of the season, like I want to say he put it on the ground at least an average of 2 times a game, easily.
Felt like it.
Easily.
Felt like it, boy.
And like whether that be center snap exchanges, whether that be him just jetting off and not protecting the ball, or just not sliding in general, like he's so reckless, and that's something where I feel like if you took Ritter, even as the prospect that he is right now, because we can all sit here and hope that he's going to be this Dak-ish quarterback or this like upgrade over Mariota, but we have no idea. But at least what we do know with Desmond, and this is just basing it off of what he did in college and obviously what he did in preseason. Shout out to his Jets preseason game, by the way. That was a chef's kiss. His running ability. I'm not going to say it's more tame or more timid than Mariota because there are some plays where he'll like what Savian said, where he'll kind of wait on a block to develop so he can get that extra yard or two and then get out of bounds. But like he's not cutting that bitch back up inside to go take a shot from Minkah Fitzpatrick like Mariota was doing on Sunday. That and that's something that I feel like makes sense in this offense. Now, like of course there are other prospects that I've voiced a lot on the timeline that people,
bro, please don't bring that.
Yeah.
It's not what you're here for. It's not what you're here for.
We're not. But that is something that I'm very intrigued to see when he finally does get his opportunity.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun when we see just to see what Ritter can do in this offense. So we have 4 weeks left. We're sitting in the bye week now.
Mm-hmm.
What have we learned about this team going forward? What's the number one thing that you're looking forward to from the first 13 weeks that you're looking to see in the last 4 weeks?
I'll say I've seen that this run game is a monster.
Right.
That's obvious because we've been doing this when teams know we're running the ball, and we've been virtually one-dimensional all season.
We are one-dimensional. We are one-dimensional.
And we've continued to run the ball down teams' throats. So that means Arthur's run scheme is immaculate because we've played some of the top rush defenses this year as well, and we've run all over them too.
The
Steelers, yeah, too. So we've proven that we can do this on high caliber defenses. So I'll say I learned that because I definitely didn't know that last year. I couldn't tell at all. And I will say I think Art's playbook opened up a little bit more this year. Obviously, because Mariota is a mobile quarterback. Like Jack was saying, that's where you get your highest potential out of Art's playbook. It's kind of how he writes it up or draws it up.
Yep.
So, yeah, man, I would say I'm looking forward to the last 4 games. Hopefully Desmond Ritter starting and me being – because I really want a clear scope of how good or mid this team is with baseline QB play. Like, if we have solid, like, top 17, 18, 19 QB play. If we're not having that 28th best quarterback play, what happens?
Yep.
Appreciate
Mayfield
that, man.
cannot step up. Mayfield can't step foot.
As a matter of
Mayfield's
fact,
on IR.
hey, bro,
bro.
Mayfield hurt, bro. He's still gimpy, bro.
Yeah.
He can't even. Yeah,
He's out for the year.
He's out for the year, bro. That's GG's for him.
Yep.
Jack, number one thing that you looking forward to, man.
I mean, it's still pending, but we probably have the best right side we've had since Levitri and Schrader. And I look forward to locking them both up long term. I look forward to signing both those. I mean, McGarry obviously is going to be the one that's the hot topic because, what's the price tag going to be? I just have a feeling like Lindstrom, I'm fully confident in getting that deal done. Honestly, he will probably be the highest paid guard in football coming up this offseason, and I have zero problems with that. I have not a singular problem with giving Lindstrom what he's earned.
Not at all.
For McGarry, I can understand where some people would want to tag him and, give him the year or at least next year. Just give him the tag and just kind of see what it looks like next year. But, I feel like if this is a direction that Art wants this offense to go, at least from a financial standpoint, I think it makes the most sense, especially coming off a career year that he's had. And that's the thing, even in pass pro. I mean, outside of the few duffs against Brian Burns, which, Brian Burns is a top 5 edge in football. What he did against TJ Watt this past Sunday. I don't even think TJ made a few splash plays in the run game or where he kind of snuffed out a bootleg here and there. But as far as affecting the quarterback, TJ really didn't do much on Sunday from a pass. I mean, it's not like we throw the ball a lot, but in the opportunities that he did have, of course, there's always going to be attention towards TJ Watt. I mean, because TJ Watt's a top 3 player on defense in the entire NFL. But with that in mind, I'm super excited to get both of those guys locked up long term, and I'm super, super excited whenever he gets healthy, of course, to see what we have in Ebiketie, because what he did in that Washington game,
nice.
Even that much, and because he might have played midway through the second quarter, but what he did in that quarter and a half is something I haven't seen out of a Falcons edge, and I couldn't tell you when. He was phenomenal, and he stepped up in the run game too.
Yes, he did.
I gotta say, man, I'm looking for a spark, bro. I'm just looking for something to spark these guys because the last, I want to say since the Bengals game, it's looked pretty uninspiring. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, they fight. I'm not saying they don't fight. This is a team full of fighters. You know what I'm saying? They are going to be in the game until they not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're going to continue.
And it certainly don't look like nobody's checked out, at least to the
nobody's exactly. Nobody's checked out. No, that's not what I'm saying. We don't have a Deion Jones on this roster right now. We ain't got one.
That's a fact.
Man, that's a heck of a name to put out here.
I forgot about. I was about to say,
bro,
he checked out about week 10 last year. He was done past week 10.
He was done with it.
And I do want to give the shout out to the GOATs again, just real quick.
Oh yes, sir.
Love them boys out of your Falcon mind.
Oh yeah, one of the top podcasts, by the way.
Top Falcons podcast, 100%. But yeah, man, I'm just looking for a spark, man. I'm looking for these guys because I feel like the season is over. I feel like with the win last night, Brady showed that Brady is still Brady, and I don't know, man. I don't see us beating that out.
17.5.
See, and that's
17 and a half. Yeah, I mean, hey,
I'll put him at 15.
Yeah, somewhere around that. Let's say, I'm talking about some pockets. Hey,
that's
got him at 17 and a half. I got him at 15.
I mean, 15. I'll do 15.
You know what? If Ledford likes him, then I'll give him 15. But I'm not. I'm just scared to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, man.
If I told you we gave him 3 for 45, would you be mad?
I'm down. No, I'm down.
I'll take it.
I'm down.
I'll take it. But it's just
That's
a
15 a
year,
year.
though. That's what's upsetting me. It's just 1 year.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I want to see, man. And I think that Arthur has been waiting for this team to evolve. I think that's the reason why he has been, you know what I'm saying, so gung ho on keeping the ball in Mariota's hands, kind of, especially when the game started last game. We started with like three passes out of nowhere. That was weird.
That was
but
weird.
That was weird, bro, because it's like that's never been what we do. And I mean,
But
I
you want to know
understand.
why he did it, bro? Because they
Talk to me.
work. They work. They work. The concepts are getting open. He sees it. He knows they work. He knows who doesn't work. So there's that. Because
that one hurt. That one hurt.
Because I feel you. I'm the guy too that was saying, like, you know, running the ball is our identity. Like, that, to me, with how good we are at that right now, that's what we need to be focused on. But like, it's so sickening. I'm so tired of seeing Drake London open and OZ open, and not anymore this year get well, but Kyle Pitts just running open, free crosses, go routes, post routes, and like
they getting open on 2-man routes. That's what's crazy.
They're getting open on 2-man routes, bro. These concepts are working. He's just not getting the ball there, and I know that with Art being the play caller too, I can only imagine how frustrating that must be to like call a banger of a play. Like call bangers of plays, multiple that he's missing. That has to be irritating.
Yeah, because there's only so many times, bro, that you can sit there and call. You know what I'm saying? Call the right play. Put your players in the right situation.
Right.
And it just fall flat. Not because of anything that you've done, but because of execution. Before you're just like, all right, something needs to change. And apparently for Arthur, that was 13 weeks.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And I mean, who knows? Maybe the plan all along was just to wait till the bye week and then give Ritter the last 4 games, unless we were in serious playoff contention.
Mm-hmm. And he did say that the bye came at a good time. That's exactly what he said. So
maybe that was the plan the whole time. Maybe we were just panicking for no reason.
Yeah,
could have been. We're good at that.
On Locked On, they were saying
very good.
The guest was talking about how they could just fill in the backstory once we see who he is. Like, if he's really good, we'll just be like, they could just be like, oh yeah, that was playing the whole time. We're just gonna sit him for the year, let him rock, and then come be Patrick Mahomes. And then, or if he's bad, they can be like, oh, he's a 3rd round pick. You know what I'm saying? You got to try. You know what I mean? You got to see what you got.
That's hilarious.
I am very, very invested though about how he's going to handle New Orleans, because like even with the Saints being absolute ass this year, you know that place is going to be ruckus and loud. Yeah. Like honestly, and I said it in the group chat and I'll say it again on here. This is a legacy game for Desmond Ritter.
Legacy game, bro.
This is a legacy game. You want pub in the A? Go to the Saints in your first professional start and whoop their ass. If you do it, all right, man, you got my vote. Hell.
Yes, sir.
Man,
bro,
I need that. I need that more than I need to breathe. I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
Bro,
I need that more than I can.
What better start? And I'm gonna be honest with you too. That's if there's one thing that kind of has me a little nervous about Ritter starting now is if he's gotten all the operational things down pat, like how to run the offense cleanly in the NFL and stuff like that. I know he had a few issues in the preseason with that. And I mean, but that was 15 weeks ago. Yeah. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles. But I think Ritter is poised under pressure. I think he is a winner at whatever level. And I just think he'll bring a winner's mentality to this team. Shout out Drake London again, because I don't know if y'all know this, but they best buds, bro.
Load up the Drake, baby.
They best buds, bro. They have the same agent, so they've been working out together since draft season. when Drake London had his first press conference after being drafted, he talked about when they asked him about how he felt when they drafted his friend Desmond Ritter and his, not label mate. He ain't a rapper, but you know what I'm saying. They
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Same chain. Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about how he feel like they got a dog. They feel like he got a guy who could potentially be really good in the league. So I'm interested to see how that works.
Mm-hmm. I kind of just got to thinking while y'all was chopping it up. I kind of think there would be a tell as far as knowing that they're kind of leaning into the direction of Ritter just by following like the practice squad.
Yeah.
Would it not make sense if they bring Ritter up to bring Bernhardt up too?
I need it.
Because
I need it. I need
chemistry is there.
No, yeah, because
I need it
in preseason. Bernhardt was Ritter's top target. Listen, Frank Darby can hit the Dougie or do whatever the fuck he wants to do on IG Live. But if they activate Bernhardt, if they activate Bernie,
yeah,
I mean, to me that would signify, they're probably going to roll with Ritter.
I ain't gonna lie. If they activate him, then I would say, for sure. But I don't know if they'll do it, but that would make sense though. They got chemistry, bro. Hey.
They do because that's the thing is like Pruitt. I mean, Pruitt's already on the roster because of the the injury to Pitts. So, and that was his second target in preseason that he went to the most. I mean, out of all the guys that he was throwing to, and then of course Bird's been on the 53 the whole year.
Yeah.
So, tight end one Pruitt. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, bro, Jared. Hey, so go ahead and get your
buy your Jared Bernhardt stock on
right now.
Go ahead and get your alarms ready, bro. 8 o'clock.
The dip, man.
8 o'clock p.m. on Sunday. You gonna hear Jared Bernhardt then got called up.
And they got elevated.
Then got elevated.
Buy the dip. Go ahead and get on your fantasy stock watch and buy the dip, man.
All right, folks. One last thing before we get up out of here, bro. What the hell are we gonna do about this defense, man? Because we 30th in DVOA. I'm pretty sure we're 31st at this point, and everything else. I think the only one worse than us is Houston. So I mean, what are we gonna do, bro?
You go, Jack. I got a lot of. I don't know.
Gotta make it quick, man. We gotta get up out of here.
My first question is, do we have an update on Casey Hayward at all? Is he coming back?
I think he's out for the year,
I think Casey's gone, bro. I think they don't want him out.
All right. I think so all we have is prayer. That's all we have is prayer. I mean, unless Ebiketie is 100% after the bye week, all we have is prayer. We got Timmy Horn and Abdullah Anderson in the 1-3 text right now when Grady's off the field. All we can do is pray, gentlemen.
All right, bro. I ain't got nothing because basically everything I was going to say could be encompassed in that one statement, bro. All we got is prayer.
Yeah, that's all we got. We got prayer.
Oh my God. Hey, bro.
We got a fly white guy from Montana. Shout out, Troy.
Oh yeah, shout out Troy. Come on.
Shout out Troy, bro. Troy doing his thing, doing what he can, bro, with his quarterback himself. That man is trying his best to be a linebacker out here, bro. I swear to God.
Hey, y'all gonna be sick when he put when Art throw Troy in that RPO.
Dang.
Hey.
I can see it now. Taysom Hill, big play after big play after big play.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Moving.
QB power 5 plays in a row, right down the field.
Moving Anderson around like he in mud. I love it. All right, y'all.
Sir.
All right, y'all. We got to get up out of here. We got to make way for the ATV flop.
One last thing before I part. Go ahead.
Give it to me, Jack.
Go ahead, Fleet. Go ahead. One sec.
All right.
Fleet, go ahead.
Hey, Fleet, man.
Hey, man, thank y'all for tuning in as always, man. We always appreciate chopping it up about these dirty birds with y'all, man. Hey, y'all see the @ right there at Ron Rico Season on Twitter. Appreciate y'all, man.
I don't know what this man going to do, bro. I'm very scared about what this man is going to come back with. All right, y'all.
That better be a Tim Tebow jersey.
This has been a great podcast. Y'all boys be easy.
That is not an AR jersey.
Man, whatever. That's a wrap, bro. Y'all boys
All right.
bees, man.
Y'all see the app, man. Appreciate y'all, fellas.
No problem, brother.